Okay, what's up guys? Commander Alex here, and today we actually got into the game a little bit late because I was messing around with my recording settings, so hopefully that's not going to affect us too badly here. But today we're going to be doing a... Okay, she wants to start back here, that's fine. So today we're going to be doing another guide video, and today we're going to be doing it on Krul. I was actually going to do a full CP video today, or a full weapon power video, but you guys, I got a ton of comments saying that you guys wanted me to do Krul as a guide because I guess people seem to have some issues with him, and he is one of those heroes that when you play him wrong, it can get really bad. He's very easy to screw up on. So I'm gonna hopefully go through exactly what you want to be doing with him and giving you guys some tips. And so yeah, there we go. We are going to be going for a really crappy clear since I got here late. Normally I would have started at the bottom, my support would have started at the middle, so we would have worked our way back, and then I would have backed to shop, but instead we're going to be going for a little bit of a different start here. You're going to see I did start Weapon Blade there. There's a couple different ways that you can start with Krul and a couple different overall builds you can go with him. So obviously there's the standard Breaking Point Krul, which is Breaking Point, Shiver Steel, Bone Saw if they have armor, Tornado Trigger if they don't have armor, and then Boots and Tank. Or you can go for the kind of new meta Krul, which is really starting to become popular in higher skill tiers, which basically consists of Sorrow Blade and a sometimes it's Tornado Trigger and Bone Saw, sometimes it's just Bone Saw, but basically the idea is because he has a better mid-game now, you can go for more mid-game items like Tornado Trigger and Sorrow Blade, and they're going to really allow you to kind of do well in the mid-game and not have to rely on your late game as much as Krul. So we're going to be trying out that type of build. I'm not quite as familiar with it, but I do know kind of how it's supposed to go down, and if there's some like small build changes that should be made, I'll hopefully figure them out after the video, and we can link that in the description down below. There's no way I'm getting out of this, so I'm just going to try and hopefully stay alive as long as I can. I'm going to actually try and fight on top of this. We're going to pick up one kill. I'm not going to be able to get out of this again. It was lucky that Petal wandered into the bush. A little bit of lag there, sorry about that. Kestrel finally is going to come down, and the big reason that we had such a crappy fight there was that Kestrel came back so late. So if Kestrel had come down a little earlier, we might have had a better chance, but she didn't, and you know, we made the best of it. We traded kills, which on Krul is really good. In the early game, if you can trade kills, you're doing really good. Obviously, you don't want to pick fights because you're not an early game champion, but if you have to, trading a kill is by far a better trade for Krul than it is for other champions. And the reason for that is that he does have a very strong late game. It's not quite as strong as it used to be. They did nerf his late game a little bit, but it's definitely one of the strongest in the game right now. Right up there with like Blackfeather and some of those heroes. So one thing you saw right there, Catherine stuck around and actually stuck close enough that she got experience from the minion, which is really bad, especially when you're playing with a Krul. As a support playing with Krul, you don't want to stick next to your support. You want to allow your Krul to hyper level, which means that he gets all the experience and you don't take any because you're too far away. This is really important. Because of that, I'm not going to level up as quickly, and that's going to mean that I'm not going to hit my power spikes as quickly, which is maxing out my Spectral Smite and then maxing out my Dead Man's Rush. I don't know why I can't think of the ability names. So it's just a little thing, but as a support playing with the Krul, you should definitely allow him to hyper level, and if you guys want, I can do a video on that. It's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not probably going to do a video unless a lot of people have questions about it, but you know, it's a really important thing as a support. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, do leave a comment, you know, asking me to make a video about it. And she took farm, and I will make a video about it. So Catherine took a little CS there. I don't think it was intentional. I'm not too salty about it, you know, it happens. So let's kind of talk about why the Sorrow Blade Bone Saw build works. The general reason is that because you have a better mid-game, the lifesteal that you can get with the Sorrow Blade combined with... actually, one second. We're going to try and pull something off here. It doesn't look like it's going to work out. I did get taken very low. I can't pop my pot. Probably should have popped that in the fight. I'm going to stick around just in case they try to engage, because I do have a good bit of burst damage right now, and a fight would probably go in our favor. I'm not quite sure what's happening. The enemy team... Okay, here we go. I'm going to go in. I can lifesteal pretty effectively. One more auto attack. That's going to be a kill for me. I'm also going to go down to Arden. and Kestrel was kind of minion blocked there. That was smart fighting by the enemy team, because what happened was Kestrel's arrows didn't actually land onto them, and that was due to the minions that were in her way. So if you're playing against a Kestrel, it's always smart to try and position minions in between you and the Kestrel when you're fighting, because when you do that, you basically stop her from getting her arrows to hit you, at least the main damage. So that's kind of something important. Also, you're going to see that my Kestrel is going weapon power. Weapon power Kestrel is good. Personally, I don't like it as much. And the thing about Kestrel is you can go weapon power or crystal power. And Krul really can't go crystal power. You should not go crystal power Krul. So this Kestrel probably should have recognized that and gone for a crystal power build. But she didn't, and you know, we're just going to have to try and live with it. It shouldn't be a big deal, but it is something that we're going to have to kind of worry about into the later game, because they can start stacking armor on us, which can work out pretty poorly. Okay, so I just kind of got wrecked there. So did Catherine. Kestrel didn't show up to the fight. Two things went wrong there. One, I overextended, and two, Kestrel didn't show up to the fight, although she might be able to get a sneaky steal here on the gold mine, so hopefully that happens. If it does, it won't make the kill worth it, or the death worth it, but at least it'll... She didn't get the steal. At least it'll make it a little bit more worth it. It looks like she ulted backwards, actually, which is really strange. She isn't quite going to get the jewel either, so not really great play there. I'm guessing she probably could have gotten both if she played that right. I noticed she ulted backwards for some reason, which didn't do a lot for her damage. If you're playing Kestrel, ulting in the middle of a fight, unless it's to finish off a fleeing enemy, is really generally not a good idea, because you lose all the DPS during the windup of the ability, plus the enemy team can absolutely destroy you during the ability windup. So, you know, sometimes Kestrel will actually die when she's trying to use that. Okay, so right there, something to note is that I actually threw out my my ult, and then I ulted. I waited for it to boomerang back, and the reason for that is that the boomerang back of my ult actually has a longer stun duration, does more damage. It's really just super awesome if you can hit my ult on the way back. The longer the distance that the sword travels, the longer stun, and I believe more damage it does as well. So just something to note there. Try to get it on the way back, because when you do, it's pretty impressive. All right, so you see we're kind of building Sorrow and Tornado Trigger at once here. I don't really intend on doing this, but it's kind of working out for me, and actually this is not working out for me. I'm going to ult there. I'm actually going to boots. It's not going to be enough. Kestrel will trade for me though. That wasn't a great fight. I kind of went a little bit too aggressive there. Kestrel not on point with her ult. She's going to get blown up as well. That's what I'm talking about. Kestrel ulted in a really bad position there. Does Kestrel have a fountain? No, Catherine has a fountain. Okay, so Catherine probably could have used that to save my life, not gonna lie. But yeah, as I was saying about Kestrel, if you're ulting on Kestrel, you kind of need to be careful, because if someone's near you, like that petal ult pretty much chunked her to nothing when she was ulting. So sometimes it's better to, instead of ult, just, you know, throw out some arrows instead, or just let the person get away but finish the other people in the fight, if that makes sense. Alright, so we got a major power spike here at level 8. Once I hit level 8, my Spectral Smite maxes out, and that means that I'm getting some massive heals from my Spectral Smite, and just from the lifesteal that it gives me per stack. So, really awesome stuff there. We're going to try and make something happen here. I didn't actually mean for that to land onto Petal. It is a CP jewel, right? No, it's not. I don't know why that did so much damage. Okay, I'm going to retreat into the bush here. Ooh, that was really rough. My team kind of just died. Yeah, so I don't know about that one. I felt like my team was tankier than they were, and I guess I sort of just misjudged it, and they actually ended up going down super quickly. So now that I'm seeing that my team is having such a rough time in these fights, I'm actually going to transition to a more carry-heavy build, and I'm going to go for the Breaking Point rather than the Tornado Trigger. If I was going for a more mid-game and less late-game build, I would have gone Tornado Trigger Sorrow Blade, and that's kind of the new meta build, but it's also a little bit weaker in the late game. So I'm going to go for a late-game build. We're just going to be going for as much damage as we can, and we're going to be trying to carry the team with it. So Breaking Point is going to pick us up those 2 kills. It's also hopefully going to pick us up the 3rd. There we go. All right, so worked out well there. The thing to note there is that I didn't get blown up in the beginning of the fight, and because of that, I basically just destroyed the enemy team with my breaking point. If you can get through the first, I'd say 7 seconds of the fight without, getting super low or having to use everything to keep yourself alive, you're probably going to do well for the rest of the fight, just because it's really easy once you get those breaking point stacks. The heals from his Spectral Smite are absolutely amazing, and yeah, so looking at the enemy team here, we see we have a Breaking Point Arden, Weapon Power Jewel, and that means that I really have to worry about the weapon power in the enemy team. Obviously, Petal's a threat, but if there's 2 weapon power enemies in a team, I'm going to kind of prioritize building armor rather than building shield, and because of that, we're actually going to go for this. This is kind of risky, but I think it's a good idea, and yeah, this is a good idea. This is a very good idea. Okay, we picked him up. Can get onto Petal here. Hopefully we can get onto Petal. Alright, now we can get onto her. Or can we? Man, those those are really good seeds there. Wow, that was annoying, those seeds. She was really smart about them. She placed them in the path that she knew I was going to run, and because of that, she actually ended up kiting me out there. Jewel and Kestrel ended up trading. It looked like it was a really even fight, so I mean, I can't really be harsh on anybody there. That was just a very close fight between them, and they actually ended up trading in the end, so well played by both sides. I'm actually going to sit here and get my passive up, which does give me a slow when I hit her. Hopefully she's going to face check this. Doesn't look like she will, but it's not going to matter because she is going to go down there. She just overstepped a little bit, and we took advantage of it. Simple as that. And now we can take out the rest of these minions here, and take the gold mine. Because Petal's down, this should be a pretty safe gold mine to go for. If she was up, this would actually be very risky, but I'm not too worried right now, so we're just going to do this, and I think we should be able to take it before Petal can actually get here to defend. If the enemy team comes, we can turn onto them. They didn't come, we're going to get a free gold mine, and even though it didn't give us that much gold, it actually was very useful because it gave us that kind of positioning power. So if they try to fight us, we can fight around that gold mine, and that gold mine is going to be really, really useful. Pretty much like a 4th team member for us, if you know what I mean. Alright, I'm going to pop my Atlas here just because I wanted to get it on the first enemy I saw, and now I'm just trying to get these breaking point stacks. I did go down there. Wow, that was a lot of lag right there. I'm not really sure what happened in that fight. I think part of it was that, yep, this is a lot of lag. Sorry about this, guys. I think part of it there was that the Arden had a breaking point as well, so his damage was scaling pretty much just as much as mine was, and he also had his entire team helping him to kill me, whereas my team, obviously they could have helped me, but the fountain wasn't popped by Catherine, nor was really much by Catherine, so hopefully next time she's going to use that fountain to keep me alive and get me through the early game of the fight. A mistake that a lot of supports make is they don't use the actives to keep Krul alive in the early game. They think, I might as well save them because I don't want to use my fountain, which heals the entire team, just to save one member, and that's generally a bad mindset, especially with the Krul, because Krul is a carry champion. If he can get through the first few seconds of a fight, he's going to just destroy in the end of the fight. And so it's better to pop that fountain just for me in the early game of the fight, because in the late game, I don't really need anything to keep myself alive. My lifesteal, my damage is going to be enough to single-handedly 1v3 if I can get to that point of the fight. So again, playing as a support, you really have to just keep the mindset of keep Krul alive, win the game. That's pretty much what your mindset is going to be. Alright, I'm going to go on to her. She may have ultimate. If she does, alright, I'm going to smite there. The reason I smited was because I wanted to kill her before this jewel landed on top of me, and from the looks of things, that was a good idea. Yeah, Atlas to make sure that Arden doesn't kill me, and we're going to take him out. That's going to be the ace for our team, and now we can push towards the enemy turrets. Really important that we can push right now, because even though we could take gold mine, getting the turret advantage right now is important. It's going to release our jungle pressure right now, because right now they have very good jungle pressure on us because they've taken 2 turrets, but now that we've kind of evened out those turrets, they can't push into our jungle as easily because they don't really have anything to retreat to. Like if we start winning the fight, where are they going to go? They have to go all the way back to the base to get to any safety. So it's a lot more dangerous for them to push into our jungle now, which is useful because it means that I'm going to be able to farm without having to worry about being jumped on by Jewel. Alright, so another thing to note. these minion mines. Should not take these. Definitely don't take those. They took both minion mines, and that's really good for us. The reason that's so good for us is because the minion mines basically give us a lot of extra gold. I didn't even get my smite off there. I was really hoping that Arden wasn't going to kill me so quickly. Not even sure where the damage is really coming from there. Arden doesn't have that much damage to begin with. I don't know who has it, but whoever it is on the team seems to be killing me quite quickly. So I'm actually going to build shield to counter the who is it? Yeah, the petal, and then I'm going to sell this and could go for a Serpent's Mask. It's suboptimal, but at this point I've had to kind of pivot my build because my team wasn't doing as well in the early game, and so I had to pivot to a more late game build to make this build work. Now keep in mind, generally I wouldn't go for this type of strange weapon power breaking point build sort of deal, but you know, if your team isn't doing well in the early game and you're going for an early game build, or in Krul's case a mid game build, just pivot to a late game build. You can always do it with Krul. All you have to do is build breaking point basically, and things get a lot easier from there on out. So next item is probably going to be Shiver Steel. Reason for that is that I want to stick to my enemies. It's also going to give me some nice base health. Enemy team did pick up the Kraken, which is concerning, but I'm actually going to head back to base and pick up a Dragon's Heart. Start building to that Shiver Steel, and at this point we kind of have a few options. We could go for the Shiver Steel immediately and then go into more damage with like a Serpent's Mask or Sorrow Blade, whatever it may be, or we could go for a little bit more tankiness with I don't know, maybe a Full Metal Jacket. That would probably be the best item for us right now. Alright, the ult came out there, didn't really do that much to us. I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. And now, oh, here we go. Here we go. No, I ulted the wrong person. Alright, well, that was not good. And now I'm in a very bad situation. Yeah, that was pretty rough there. I ulted, or not, I didn't ult, I smited the wrong person, so I didn't kill Jewel outright there, and then I got locked in the Arden Gauntlet, so my team couldn't help me. It was smart that they just kept going onto the Kraken rather than trying to help me, so they really played that out smart, because if they had tried to help me, they might have ended up completely losing the game for us, which is really kind of scary there. But it looks like we are going to be able to finish this Kraken off, though the game is getting really close, and honestly I'm not sure who's gonna win this one. So normally my guide videos are pretty laid back because like I'm playing at fairly low elo, but right now I'm playing on my main account. This is a casual match, but the enemy team knows what they're doing and they're not troll building, so I'm definitely starting to have some second thoughts about how well this game's gonna go. Hopefully we can pull out a win, but you know, you never know in Vainglory. So we're going to pick up the minion mine now, and the reason is that at this point gold doesn't matter, we just don't want the wave on their side. And the reason for that is that if they win a fight with 1 or 2 kills, Kestrel should not face check this, or Catherine shouldn't face check this. If they win a fight with even 1 or 2 kills, if they have the minion wave on their side, they can slowly just push through our base, and even if we still have some people up, it's not really going to matter. Okay, so this is going to be our kill target here. And it looks like he is going to go down. I'm going to get back onto this Arden here, and now that we actually have the Arden going down, this is going to be a really big power swing for our team, and it might end up actually winning us the game. Oh, please tell me this Arden doesn't get away. Good snipe by Kestrel there, and we have to burn the boots out of the petal. Okay, so that's actually not that bad. Burning boots out of petal means that if we end up fighting in the next few minutes, or in the next minute here, she's not going to have boots to help her out. I'm going to head back to base so that I can... oh, I want to bait this petal out right now. Okay. Hopefully she comes into the bush. She isn't. I'm going to head back to base because the enemy team is coming up and I don't want to get caught out here. Heading back to base here. Hopefully Catherine doesn't try and do anything heroic. And at this point, I'm actually going to go for a Piercing Shard. Now, I know I've done a lot of selling in this game, which isn't optimal. Obviously, you pretty much never want to sell in Vainglory, but looking at the enemy team, there's a lot of armor coming out, and I want to counter that with a Bone Saw. So Bone Saw is going to be my next item here. It's going to be really useful against the enemy team that we're going against, which is pretty much just building Full Metal Jackets, and it's going to make our damage really, you know, pretty much the best in the game at the moment. Obviously, they can counter build us with health now since we're building this armor pierce, but health is kind of a secondary counter to Krul, if you know what I mean, because armor is the best counter, but if I'm counter building their counter build, there's like they don't have a lot that they can do. All right, we're going to be starting this fight here. Okay, I'm taking a lot of damage. I'm going to pop my fountain. I'm actually going to turn onto this guy so I can keep my breaking point stacks. Now I'm going to go onto her. Nope, one down there. Kestrel, I don't really know what she's doing. She hasn't done anything in this fight. Hopefully she's going to turn around. A lot of lag there. That's not good. Looks... Oh, Kestrel, man. Oh, Kestrel. That was really bad. She didn't really show up to the fight, and then when she did, I don't know what happened, but she instantly died. So... something went wrong there, and something went very wrong, because that pretty much just threw the fight and possibly the game. I don't know if they're going to go for... They are going for Kraken. Okay. Pretty scary stuff right now. We're going to be up in 10 minutes, or 10 seconds, not 10 minutes, which is going to mean that we can defend this, but it's going to be close, and hopefully we can kill the Kraken before it gets this turret. I don't think it's possible, but we're going to do our best here. I'm going to double infuse because this next fight, if we lose it, definitely loses the game for us. So instead of trying to wait for like a bone saw, I might as well just put everything into this next fight. And if we win it, we can actually win the game off of it. So here we go. I don't want to really go and try and steal this, but I don't know if I really have a choice as well. I'm going to head down in here. Nope, they got it just in time. All right, that's unfortunate, but defendable. We can actually turn this around because when people take Kraken, they tend to just think about taking turrets and they don't necessarily think about me getting breaking point stacks. So if I can make them kind of forget about me and get breaking point stacks when they're out here, we can actually win this. Kestrel needs to be out here now. Kestrel definitely needs to be here. All right, she is coming. That's good. And here we go. We can start the breaking point build. Going to pretty much just be looking to ult the moment that the enemy team tries to jump on me. If Krul jumps, or if Jewel jumps on me, I'm going to ult him at mid-flight so the stun doesn't land. And we're pretty much just praying at this point. I did not get the ult off there, which is unfortunate, but we don't really have a choice right now. So we're going all in for the kill here. That's one. Popping the fountain here. We can get the lifesteal. Hopefully it's enough. That's going to be 2. And Kraken is down. Thank you, Kestrel, for that quick Kraken. And we might be able to pick this up. Try to dodge that. Oh, wait, we're going to have boots up. We can definitely pick up this kill. And minions are going to be pushing in our favor, just looking at the mini-map. Let's get this. Why did I want it? I did not mean to run into that. Okay. Now we just have to clear this wave, shove straight to the base here. Minions are definitely in our favor. I don't know what our team's doing. The enemy team only has one person right now, and the next person is going to be up in 10 seconds. But for some reason, our entire team backed. So not quite sure on that one, going to be honest. Definitely a little confused about that. Team needs to get here. Looks like they aren't going to get here in time. So we did save off defeat, but at the same time, our team definitely didn't capitalize on that correctly. So some major lost... I don't know. We could have done better is all I'm really trying to say there. Alright, so I need my bone saw. These guys need to get back from down there. If they get caught out, there's nothing I can do for them, and they're going to die. So let's not do that, team. Looking for any farm that I can get right now. I need 70 farm. I need like 50 farm. Come on. Alright, I'm actually going to head back to base so that I can pick up my bone saw, because bone saw is going to give me a major power spike in this next fight. So hopefully we can win this next fight. This has been actually an incredibly intense game, and I'm kind of wondering if we're going to win. You know, it's really close. We could, but at the same time, one slip up and the game's gone. The game is definitely done. So we have to be careful about how we play this one. Looks like the enemy team, it's an Atlas Full Metal Jacket Arden. That is pretty scary for a Krul, because basically he's just trying to do everything he can to shut down my damage. So I'm going to act like I'm farming this on my own. Oh, enemy team is up there. Kestrel should not go to lane. Kestrel should meet with us down here. Okay, here we go, here we go. Yep, stunned in midair. No, wait, I thought I stunned in midair. Yeah, yes, breaking point, breaking point, breaking point! Yes! Oh my god, that lag, no! Maybe? Yes! Oh, thank god. Holy shit. I thought I was gonna go down there for a second. There's nothing like... There's not even like analysis that I can make about that. That's just breaking point saving my ass. I thought the Arden's breaking point might have outscaled me there for a second, and I was pretty scared about it, but it didn't. That's going to be the ace for our team. I am actually going to pick up some infusions here, and I'm going to push straight to the enemy team's base here. The minions should be pushing in our favor. Is this up? No, that... Oh, shit, it is up. Kraken is up. We definitely want to take that. Even if we don't get the game off of this, by taking Kraken, we pretty much ensure that the enemy team isn't going to be able to finish because they need Kraken to finish right now. They can't fight us like mano a mano. If they try to fight us 3v3, we're consistently winning these fights at this point. So that's Kraken on our side. We're going to go clear lane, and we need to start taking these turrets. Arden's up in 4, and that's something to keep in mind. I'm going to clear this wave, and then hopefully the wave's going to be on our side, and we're going to be able to take a turret off of this. Kraken is pushing behind me. If I can get this turret down before Kraken gets here, I think we'll be good to go. Alright. I'm actually going to push in like this because there's really nothing this Jewel can do. I want to take the turret first. Okay, we have Jewel pretty much locked down here. Okay, that's 2, and we don't really even need the 3rd. We just need this Kraken to get in here so we can finish the game. Holy crap, I think we might actually do it. 1 person left to defend. I don't think it's going to be enough for the enemy team. I think the final turrets are going to go down here, including the Vein Crystal, and this is going to be a win for us. The surrender came out from the enemy team. That's going to ensure that we get the win, and there you go, guys. The power of Krul. Alright, so I know that I wasn't really like analytical in the final minutes of that game just because things were getting kind of heated, and I wasn't even really playing with like my analytical brain. I was more just playing like emotions wise, but let's go back and actually break down some of the things that I did, why I did them, and hopefully we can kind of piece together the end of the game there so that you guys understand exactly what happened. So you see the enemy team, Jewel had some armor, Arden had 2 armor items, and the Petal had a full metal jacket. So that's a ton of armor. With that much armor, I knew I had to get Bonesaw. So even though I got it really late because I started off with a kind of suboptimal build, I ended up actually getting it at the end there, and it made a major difference because it meant that even Arden, who had so much armor, really just kind of fell apart once I got onto him with a couple auto attacks. So really important that I got the Bonesaw. You notice that once our team started losing that early game, I pivoted to the late game build because I knew that if I tried to stick with my mid game, early game sort of Sorrow Blade, Tornado Trigger Krul, it wouldn't work out because I wouldn't be doing enough damage in the late game, and we would pretty much just fall apart because of that. So one thing to note about this is that Kestrel went Weapon Power, which was a really bad choice. Also, Kestrel went Breaking Point. Don't go Breaking Point Kestrel. She doesn't benefit from Breaking Point. She's just not one of those heroes that can kind of use it well. There's certain situations where it can work out well for her, but it's not a great item on her just because she's very fragile, and her escape basically stops her from auto-attacking, because if she wants to escape, she has to go invisible. But when she's invisible, she can't deal damage to enemies, so whenever she tries to escape, she's losing Breaking Point stacks, which is kind of the reason why it doesn't work on her. So Kestrel's build was suboptimal in the fact that she won Breaking Point, also that she won Weapon Power, because we both want Weapon Power, which meant that the enemy team, you kind of knew they had to build on that armor to counter us. Even though it wasn't enough in the end, you notice that they did kind of realize that and definitely counter build us very hard. As far as Catherine goes, she was on point for pretty much the whole game. I can't say much about her build. It was really just well-rounded, and I like how it went. I like that she went Warhorn. Generally, people like to go Contraption on Catherine. That's just a me thing. Maybe other people like to go Warhorn all the time. But Warhorn, when you're playing with a Krul as a support, is major. Because of that Warhorn, it allowed me to get onto my enemies just that much quicker, and it allowed me to stick to them, because really the biggest issue that Krul has is sticking to his enemies. So major props to the Catherine there, and really just a good build overall. Also, you're going to notice she went Aftershock, but she didn't go Aftershock first item. She went Aftershock as one of her final items, which meant that she did damage in the late game, but she didn't give up any of her support items for that damage, if that makes sense. Alright, moving on here, we have the Petal, who built a full CP Petal, but not really. I don't know if she really knew what she was doing there. She did go for the Frostborn, which is really good. She went for the Broken Myth, but honestly, I would have gone Alternating Current, and I don't really know why she went Eve of Harvest. You can do it on Petal, but the thing about Petal is her ult already gives you this massive heal, so going Eve of Harvest, in my opinion, is kind of a waste. She did build that armor, which was really smart against our team because we didn't have a Bonesaw until the late game, and that armor definitely kind of shut us down in the early game. As far as that, she was pretty good. I mean, I can't say anything horrible about her. She was really good about the kiting with her seeds. That's a major kind of advantage that Petal has. She can drop seeds, and those are going to explode and push you back. So if you're trying to chase Petal, it just gets really annoying. And then you have the Arden. The Arden went for a fairly standard Arden build, except for he went Tornado Trigger Breaking Point, which I disagree with. Breaking Point is a great item on Arden if you're going to do it as your 5th or 6th item. Tornado Trigger, not so much. You can do it, but it's not that great of an item on a support Arden, let alone a support Arden that already has another damage item. Because of that, he didn't get a Warhorn or a Contraption, and that really hurt the rest of his team. So honestly, yes, the Arden was kind of an issue for me at a point there because he was doing a lot of damage to me, but at the same time, you know, I had my Atlas to counter him, and I had all this lifesteal that he didn't have, so even though he maybe did more damage than me, my life still kept me alive long enough to just chip him down enough to kill him. So he played well. I like that he went for the double armor. Sometimes it's okay to do that as a support because those double armor items meant that he stayed alive longer, but honestly, he just couldn't stand up to Krul, and as a support, you shouldn't be trying to stand up to Krul. A support shouldn't win against a Krul, and there's really no support that can win against a Krul, so instead of trying to do that, go for support items and try to help your teammates win against me, if that makes sense. And finally here, we have the Jewel. Alright, so Jewel, I don't know what her build was, but she was a really big issue for me, especially in the early game. The reason was the Jewel had a lot of burst damage, and for Krul, that's very hard to deal with, especially in the early game. In the late game, I got some armor with my Atlas, and it became a little bit easier to deal with her, but it was really hard in the early game with all that burst and not having very much tankiness. So, some things to take away from the video. You want to go for either the Breaking Point build, or you want to go for the Sorrowblade Bonesaw build. Either build works, but they are different types of builds that have different strengths and weaknesses. You notice I started with that Sorrowblade build, but my team was losing in the early game, so I decided to pivot towards the late game build. That was why I started to sell items, and my build got a little wonky there for a while. But honestly, just pick the build that you like the most, and assuming it suits your team, you can very easily carry games with Krul. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, hopefully you learned something from the video, and remember, if you have a hero that you want me to do a guide for, leave it in the comment section down below, and I will do it in a future video. You know, I don't know when I'll do it, but eventually I'm going to be making another guide video, and it's going to be for one of the champions that you guys suggest. So talk to you guys in the next video. See ya.